My puppy's jumping on me and my tripod is falling over. Okay, this is going well. So we are live. If you jump on, say hi. Don't know what's going on with my tripod. I'm going to have to squeeze my feet around it. Let's see. Magic. Nope, it's going to fall over. Okay, so I'm squeezing my tripod with my feet, seeing if anyone comes on. I'm doing these impromptu lives just to connect with the community. Really want to get to know you. Like, it's really weird being a creator because you just end up talking at no one, right? And what I love is connection. I love answering people's questions. I love having a conversation about this with you. So I'm just going to keep doing more lives and just work out what's the best time for people. And I'll obviously do it at different times because a lot of people are in different time zones. But like, it's a really nice way just to connect with the community, keep the energy going, like just keep us in a high vibe, right? And I like to meet you because, as I say, like I feel like you guys know a lot about me if you've been watching me for a while, but I know very little about a lot of you, right? So it's nice to have the connection. Hello, when you come on, say hi, tell me where you're from. I'm just saying, like someone said yesterday, what's the purpose of the lives? And the purpose of the lives is for me to tell you what's going on the channel, what I've got coming up, the topics and things like that. It's just to connect and also like share like any offers I've got. So like if you're not on my mailing list, get on my mailing list. If you go to elliefrost.com, you'll see there's I think it's in the work with me section. You can actually join my mailing list. If you join my mailing list, you're going to be getting special content and any special offers. I did a video yesterday on why the narcissist can't love. I did one today on what happens when you give the narcissist a second chance. I've got coming up hypervigilance. I'm going to do a whole video on hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is when our nervous system is in fight and flight mode and we just like, we get hyper worried. You know, everything sets us off. When we've got hypervigilance, which it always happens after PTSD, CPTSD, and narcissistic abuse, it's like we expect the worst. We're always waiting for the next thing to drop. I had it to a point where I was really like scared to go out the house. I was scared that everything was going to go wrong. I couldn't do anything because I got so hypervigilant. So I'm going to talk about that this week in one of the videos. I've got overwhelm as a topic after narcissistic abuse because for a lot of us, life can, our nervous systems have become so rattled. You know what I mean? Our energy system and our nervous system is like so shaken up, like we can get really overwhelmed at everything. I've gone through this myself. I still have to manage my own emotions, actually, because I'm still, my whole life was, a lot of it anyway, was in narcissistic abuse cycles. So for me, it's like I'm still putting my tools that I use into practice, but I'm not anywhere near still hypervigilant. Hello, my love. Hello, nice to see you. Tell me where you're from. I'm subscribed. Yay! Subscribe. This is the place to be. It's fun. Let's make healing fun. Someone actually said that to me, a client. She was like, I can't believe how you can actually laugh and have fun during healing. You can. My work is fun. It's not heavy. It's not re-traumatizing. It's fun. Hi, John. Ah, hello. So fun doing these lives. Let's go. Let's go into our best lives, guys. I've also got a video coming up this week called The Narcissist is an Entitled Brat. That's going to be a fun one. Where am I from? I'm from the UK. So I live in London now. I used to live in Los Angeles for the last 8 years. I moved out there and then I got back here a year ago. So I'm kind of new to England again. But I am from the UK. Where are you from? So yeah, I just want to tell you what's going on, all the offers we've got going on. Lithuania. Oh, hi. Do you know, this is so amazing, like to meet people all over the world. Like what a privilege it is to like have a connection with people from all over the world. I love it. Yesterday we had quite a lot of UK people on, but I get people a lot from America, Canada yesterday, Lithuania today. You good? Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Like I'm liking doing these lives because actually, to be honest with you guys, right, talking at a camera and talking at people isn't where I thrive. Like, I thrive in community. That's why the Sovereign Program is a community, right? But I want the YouTube to be a community too. So I'm kind of excited to do these lives so we actually just get to chat and get to know each other. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, I think part of what happens after narcissistic abuse is the isolation. We were talking about this yesterday, that, you end up isolated from communities. the narcissist makes themselves like such an important part of your life. Like your single focus ends up being them, their life, how they're doing, their emotions. You know what I mean? What's going on with them? And we tend to lose our friends and lose our support systems. And they I'm like and love your video. Thank you. Thank you so much. We tend to lose our support system and community. So I'm figuring out, right, that one of the things that was hardest for me was not having community after narcissistic abuse cycles. I got estranged from my family, and my last partner, like, literally ran a smear campaign, and like, people that I'd made dinner for and that knew me just cut me off. Like, it was just unbelievable how destructive these people can be. So I realized that we need community, you know, and like Sovereign is one way I do that, which is my program. That's 50% off still because I ran it for Black Friday, but I figured out that we're in a lot of different time zones. So if you want the discount link, email ellie@elliefrost.com. But what we need is community. We need a place to plug into. We need a place to share our stories. You know what I mean? This is about us. My channel is different because I'm not just educating you about narcissists, although that is part of it. I'm really talking about the emotional journey we go through, right? What, like, things like what I'm going to do this week, which is like talking about hypervigilance, talking about overwhelm, talking about like having our wants, needs and desires just completely stamped out of us, not living in accordance to our values and who we really are, losing our sense of self, right? Some of us, like me, you know, I had to like people please and be accommodated because I grew up in a narcissistically abusive family. I had to like become whatever they needed me to be to survive. So I didn't get to find who Ellie was for a long time in my life. You know, I didn't know who I was. And in fact, I was used to numbing my feelings and like just not being true to, I didn't even know. Like if you said to me about 10 years ago, maybe a bit longer, 15 years ago, what do you want to do? I'd have been like, I don't mind. What do you want to do? Because I truly didn't mind. All I cared about was being safe around people. And like, to me, what I was growing up with, it was like, you're only safe if you're basically submissive. So I learned just to numb out my needs, wants and desires. I didn't know what I wanted and needed. An emotional need, a need for space, a need for love, a need for reassurance, a need didn't exist in my world. What mattered was my caregivers, like my parents, and like what they needed. And I was everything I needed to be. I was trying to be the best I could at people pleasing. And it was such an unhealthy way to live. Are you from Russia? I can't read that, but I think you might be from Russia. But so one of the worst parts of this cycle is that we lose our sense of self, right? And like, you know, one of the biggest things about evolving on the planet is we get to know who we are. We get to understand our preferences. We get to get into our hearts and think, like, I always think like what's in your heart is God-given. Your dreams, your desires, how you want to be treated, how you want to experience life, right? But that gets stamped out of us often, like, and especially in narcissistic abuse. So when we're kind of at the end of it, or even going through it, it's like, I don't have any needs. I don't need anything. I'm fine. I'm fine. That was my favorite saying. I'm fine. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm fine. But guess what? That creates a life of complacency. It doesn't create a life that lights you up. And what I'm keen to do is bring in everything I know about life coaching into the work I do. So it's not just healing from narcissistic abuse, it's coaching you into having your best life, right? And that is like a life where you actually get to get in touch with what you need, want and desire. A life where you actually get to dream. A life where things get to get better, better and better and better. Where you learn how to manifest, where you learn how to like follow your dreams, follow your heart a bit more, not have your essence stamped out of you, where you get to be your full authentic self. And the best way I can do that is by showing up on the internet as my full authentic self and giving everyone else permission to do the same, because we're not perfect. I'm not perfect in any way, shape or form. You know, it's like, but being able to love ourselves is a side effect of being able to back ourselves, you know, and that's why I teach in Sovereign. It's like a side effect. Self-love is a side effect of when I don't just go, I don't mind, I'm okay, I'm fine. That's not a life to live. That we want a life that lights us up, that turns us on. We want to get in touch with what we want and need. We want to find out, you know, it's like, you wouldn't eat food that you didn't like if you didn't have to. So why would we live a life that we don't like if we don't have to? And I want to show people through the coaching stuff that you can actually create things in your life much more than you think you can, or most people think they can. We actually have more creativity like creative power than we think. And that starts with being in our hearts, able to dream, able to visualize or vision. I don't really visualize in pictures, I visualize in ideas. But like, if I think about the last year, I asked for a few things. I wanted to manifest a few things. They've all come true, right? So, however hopeless you might feel, whatever you've been through, I promise you, it is possible to create so much better in your life than what you've been through. And like when you've been through narcissistic abuse, especially with a romantic partner, right? What I think that triggers is like the longing for intimacy, because like there's no true connection with a narcissist. They're actually really boring when they're not trauma bonding you. Like when you actually get to know them outside the drama and chaos they create, they're actually pretty dull. Right? When you're not trauma bonded by them, you're just like fed up. It's like, what the heck was I doing? Well, it was because they had a trauma bond on you. They had a hold on you, right? That is very hard to break. So we get caught up in the emotional roller coaster rather than look at the person we're actually dealing with that is often like not even our type. I went out with someone for a few years and like I look back on it, he wasn't even my type, right? I was just trauma bonded by him, which was a very strong, so trauma bonding creates a very, very strong physical, emotional, spiritual, and energetic bind. Right. So I thought I was really wanting him, but it was because I was so traumatized by him and I was in the trauma bond. So we get caught up in this and with people who aren't even our type. Please share any stories you have or any like insights or anything you've liked about the channel or anything you want to talk about with narcissistic abuse, because we are here to have the best time. I want to have a good time with you guys. Like I feel like we need to understand that like this healing journey doesn't have to be heavy. Doesn't have to be, oh my gosh, I'm so damaged. The narcissist is traumatized. I mean, I was fucking damaged, by the way. So like, I get it. But like, I actually learned how to enjoy the process of finding myself again and have my own back and taking my power back, And when we take our power back and take our energy back, we start listening a bit more to ourselves and what we want and need. We've been trained, so many of us, not to be in our hearts, not to be true to ourselves. And it takes courage to say, no, I want to do this. And actually speak your mind and speak your desires into the world. But when you do, I promise you can manifest them. Yeah, sometimes it's just between you and God. You just say, look, I really want some help here. I'd like this. There's always a way, by the way, to get out of a sticky situation with a narcissist. And the way to do that is to manifest. The way to do that is to believe in the possibility of a better life. Because when we're in the cycle, it's so heavy, and our self-esteem and our confidence is being eroded all the time. So the videos I've got coming up, I've also got another one coming up that I'm going to do. This is in the next week, guys. So I'm going to do on how to stop attracting narcissists, because like a lot of us find that, and I was the same, actually my first relationship was an 8-year relationship and the guy was lovely. He wasn't a narcissist. But after that, my next relationships were with narcissists on repeat. I started repeating my childhood, right? So a lot of us find that we get away from one and then we go straight into another. We get duped again. I did. I went out with an overt narcissist who was very different to my next partner, who was a covert narcissist. So I didn't see it in the same way. The covert one was more altruistic, or seeming so, more, charitable and seeming like he cared about community and society and people. He didn't at all. He was a complete narcissist. But like, I fell for it, right? And I was so bummed because I'd already known what narcissism was then by the time I got duped. But again, it gave me a great training ground because I now understood the difference between the overt and the covert. And and I also understood how I was still susceptible to them, and they are predators. They will prey on anyone, but some of us are easier prey. If we haven't healed our childhood wounds, if we're very empathetic, which I think is a fantastic quality, by the way. Empathy will change the world. More people with more empathy will change our world, right? But the narcissist has got no compassion. No compassion whatsoever. You try and hold a narcissist accountable and they'll tell you just to get over it, not to overreact. You're too sensitive. You shouldn't be holding on to things. Or their favourite one is often, that was in the past. It could have happened yesterday and they will say, that was in the past. right? But it's not in the past if it's affecting your present. And I want you to know that, right? Anything that is still affecting you today isn't in the past because you haven't processed it yet. You haven't healed from it yet. And it's totally appropriate to bring up to people who are involved in a situation things that are still affecting you. And in healthy relationships, we can say to people, you know what? Like, this isn't resolved yet. I haven't resolved this issue. Can we talk about it? But with a narcissist, they're going to shut you down. Yeah. And they're going to shut down your emotional needs. Your emotional reality is your entire reality. Our emotions are all messengers. They're all actually very, very good. We're meant to have the whole spectrum. We're not meant to be emotionless. We're not meant to not have the so-called negative emotions. We're supposed to listen to what they're telling us, right? So that we know what to do next. So like everything has a message. Anger means I've got to set a boundary. Someone's crossed my values. Apathy, despair means, you know, I'm doing something that's hurting my soul right now. We get into despair when we're actually going out of alignment with our soul. And that's the other video I'm going to do about how having a strong sense of purpose makes you immune to narcissists. I need to write that one down. That's the other video I want to do because that's going to be fantastic. I've lost my pen. Okay. Oh, yes, I have. Yes, a strong sense of purpose makes you immune to narcissists. Because we've all got multiple purposes. Your purpose can be as a friend, it can be as a parent, it can be as big or as small as is true for you. But like the more we're grounded in a strong sense of purpose, right, the less we are able to be swayed by narcissists, because narcissists are going to push your boundaries, they're going to push your values, and they're going to take you outside your purpose, the reason you came to this planet, right? And a purpose doesn't have to be a great big fancy thing. It can just be being the best human being I can be. It can be getting to know myself. It can be multiple things. But a narcissist will push you outside that sense of purpose. Why? Because you're easier to manipulate. Happy and fulfilled people who are on feeling a strong sense of purpose are the hardest to control. And the narcissist wants to control, dominate, and manipulate you. So that's my little broad. Don't forget though, Sovereign 50% off. Because people are in different time zones, if you want Sovereign 50% off, because I did a Black Friday sale for a few days, you can still have it if you email ellie@elliefrost.com. And I'll give you the special link because I do understand that I ran a time frame on it and some people didn't get to take advantage of it because of the time zones. So you can still do that. That will be super fun. Sovereign is an amazing community, guys. The best people ever, like seriously. And it's not like any other, it's not just like learning. You get energy clearings, activations, you get community. It's very interactive. I'm in there doing monthly Q&As, but if you comment on any section, any module, any comment, I'm always in there like commenting. So we're kind of having a very interactive experience. And it is a condensed version of everything I've learned about how to overcome all symptoms and effects of narcissistic abuse and the tools you need to start manifesting your best life. So it's kind of a pretty awesome place to be. And sovereignty means I'm a sovereign being. To me, it means I'm a child of God. I'm a child of the universe. I've got divinity in me. You know, like I'm divinely guided and protected and supported at all times. And I will not let a human being ever take me away from myself again. I'm sovereign. Yeah, I'm not up for the taking by narcissists. I am sovereign. And the logo on the Sovereign program, you might see on my channel as well, is the lotus flower, right? The reason I use the lotus flower is because the lotus grows in Asia in the filthiest, muddiest waters. It grows underneath. And when it comes up to the surface, it's like pure white, iridescent flower. It looks so pure and so clean, but it's grown in the muddiest, dirtiest, filthiest marshes, right? And I think that's like us when we come out of our narcissistic abuse. I want us to know there's no mud on you. There's no dirt on you. No matter what you've done in that cycle, no matter what's been done to you, you are pure, you are fresh, you are iridescent. So that is the whole thing about Sovereign, getting you to realize that about yourself. You are good. You are lovable. You are absolutely like you can be like as pure and beautiful and shiny as that lotus, right? No matter what you've been through. Because a lot of us carry so much shame over this cycle. You know I did things that were totally out of my character because the narcissists were triggering me, pushing me, and they get off on that. And it's horrible when we come out of ourselves, right? That's called reactive abuse, isn't it? It's horrible when we do that. we feel a lot of shame and guilt. There's a whole module in Sovereign about getting out of the fog: fear, obligation, and guilt. 3 things that the narcissist will keep you in, right? We have to release the fog, release the fear, obligation, and guilt, come home to ourselves and start creating art. Remember what we want in life. Or if we've never ever felt we could ever have what we want, or even think about it, to start to think about it with very good boundaries and standards that we set with people and the universe as well on how we want to be treated. You get to create your life. You don't have to, no one has to live like this. That's what I believe. You know, I was in some very sticky situations. I got made homeless through narcissistic abuse. I lost a business. I lost my community. I lost everything. But at the same time, I also was given, you know, I know how to create. I knew that whatever happens, if you've got yourself, you can create. You can create from there, no matter how hard and sticky it is, right? And it can be very, very difficult to get out of these cycles. But I promise you, if you are open to it, there's always a way. And even if you're still stuck in it, there's a way to reclaim yourself, right? Where it doesn't impact you in the same way. I want more of us to understand this, elevate our consciousness, right? Where even if we have to still be around narcissists, right, or feel like we do, we're not impacted, we're not eroded, they're not stealing our soul. They're soul suckers. They are soul detached, and they will suck your soul out of you. It's death. It's death on one level. Okay, we're still physically here, but they will take everything from you, emotionally, physically, often financially. You know, your energy, your life force, your spirit, your hope, your faith, all the things that really matter, right? And they can make people bitter and angry. Like, what I love about this channel is, like, the people that I meet, the one that I think I attract people who are like me, like we're all in the same kind of vibe, but it's like they're the people that could be the worst. You know, they could be so angry and bitter against the world, but they're not. They're the kindest, most supportive, loving people. Because you know what? Narcissists can't change us. If you've got a good heart, you've got a good heart. We don't go to the dark side. We might have had moments. I had moments. I had moments where I was spiteful, where I spoke back, and it's not my character, right? And I regretted it. But that's what the narcissist wanted. They wanted to make me not feel like myself. They wanted to take me outside myself and make me, you know, angry and bite back. So we have to forgive ourselves sometimes. I know I did, for some of the things we've done when we were pushed so hard. Sometimes it's really embarrassing, you know, like you can feel really embarrassed and ashamed and confused about who you become in this cycle, because you become someone who's not the real you. Right. And that's what they want. You're just a source of supply to a narcissist. They don't care who you really are. Right. The best relationships make you more of who you are. The worst ones take you away from yourself. And this has to be the king of all toxic relationships. They're sociopathic, they're psychopathic, they're pathological liars. They are really like the grimmest things we've got on the planet right now. And they've got no boundaries and no morals. They're completely spiritually corrupt, morally corrupt. You know, you think, how on earth did I get in this? Well, because of the love bomb, because of the illusion. They're master magicians, because of the person they pretended to be, of course. You didn't fall in love with the ugly side of them. You fell in love with the beautiful side of them, or the one they were faking, really. If you jump on, say hi and tell me where you're from. I'm loving doing these lives. I don't know if I should set some time. Maybe I'll do like a few where I set a time so people can join and they know it's coming. And I'll do a few impromptus because I like the impromptus. It's so good to connect with you guys. So yeah, definitely look at the channel this week though. So we've got why the narcissist can't love. We've got what happens if you give them a second chance. Coming up is hypervigilance and narcissistic abuse. Honestly, that's worth watching, especially if you've had PTSD from it. Overwhelm and narcissistic abuse. The narcissist is an entitled brat, because I just think that's a fun topic and it's totally true. How to stop attracting narcissists, and having a strong sense of purpose protects you from narcissistic abuse, or helps you overcome. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Something about something about our purpose anyway, and how that is like having a strong sense of purpose makes you immune to narcissistic abuse. So yeah, that's basically. Oh, and if you want the Sovereign program at half price, I'm still keeping that open. Ellie@elliefrost.com. Email me, because I'm going to close that out. I was going to close it out yesterday, but we've got different time zones, so I don't want to be unfair to people. I love you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for letting the lives be really fun for me. And any topics you want, just put in the comments as well, because I love to do things that people actually want to hear, right? As long as it's to do with narcissistic abuse and to do with sovereignty and to do with, you know, the things I talk about, then I'll do a video on it for you. Lots of love, guys. See if I could never switch this off.